Excellency, the President and members of your government, members of the National Assembly of Suriname, visiting delegations, my colleagues from the United Nations, ladies and gentlemen. I am delighted to have the opportunity to provide remarks on behalf of the United Nations Development Program. It has been a pleasure for the UNDP to support the planning, organization, and eventual delivery of this conference that has brought together countries to share mutual challenges and inspiring experiences. This conference has also provided a platform for discussions on new opportunities and solutions for high forest, low deforestation countries to fully maximize their collaborative force and be recognized for playing a critical and strategic part in global solutions to fight climate change. Allow me to reiterate the alarm bells that the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has sounded with its special report on 1.5 degrees for global warming, warning that with current pledges under the Paris Agreement, the world is heading towards a warming of over 3 degrees Celsius. Ladies and gentlemen, we know that forest conservation and sustainable forest management are integral to the global solution. As we have heard several times during this conference, forests and other natural climate solutions can provide more than 30% of the mitigation action needed by 2050. UNDP is doing its part, working closely with your countries and stakeholders all over the world to maximize its potential for nature-based solutions. We are supporting the Secretary General's 2019 Climate Summit, and we will help convene global champions of change for ambitious NDCs for the nature-based solutions to contribute to accelerating sustainable, inclusive, and resilient development. As UNDP, we are guided by an approach that integrates gender, support for local communities, as well as adherence to safeguards in our work with indigenous peoples and local communities. Through a variety of programs and projects such as the UN RED, the Forest Carbon Partnership Facility, the GCF and GF, UNDP is contributing to this objective globally. Our support for forest-related issues in the world is leading to substantial carbon benefits, but also enhances the protection of the rich biodiversity and ecosystem services of vital importance to the livelihoods of its people. We have learned much over these 3 fruitful days of discussions. In particular, I want to highlight 2 key messages that have been raised repeatedly during this event. Firstly, we need to increasingly work to mobilize private sector finance. Moving into GF, the GF, for example, is placing enhanced emphasis on leveraging private sector finance, and in this way to achieve greater transformational change and global environment benefits. Secondly, it is essential to combine conservation objectives with sustainable development objectives, involving local communities and stakeholders in all of our efforts. For the UNDP, it is imperative that our global response to climate change is just, inclusive, and leaves no one behind. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, let me conclude by welcoming the adoption of the Krutu Joint Declaration of Paramaribo. I am thrilled to see the declaration as the main outcome of this conference, with a pledge to increase cooperation among HFLD developing countries through a platform for dialogue, coordination, and facilitation to increase interaction and linkages with international multilateral institutions and financial arrangements. I am confident that this will allow us to move away from business as usual, increase collaboration, knowledge, and exchange of best practices, and develop joint strategies and positions to conserve and maintain our forest cover for the benefit of all mankind. In this there is a call for action on HFLD countries and HFLD areas. And the UNDP stands with you in that regard. I thank you.
Thank you. May I ask the representative from UNDESA, United Nations Department on Economic and Social Affairs, give her statement.
Great, thank you. Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Suriname, distinguished ministers, ambassadors, delegates, and participants, it is my distinct pleasure to